What is
Oh,
up, everybody? Um, Game two on the way. Draft pick is also on the way. With me is Gofarino, and I do think we also have the one and only crewman with us as well.
hello. Yeah, game two. Vagar and Orn. Those are the picks I'm looking out for, guys. Let's see what happens with those.
As we look forward for the bands here already. TD on a red side again, oh, by the way. But we'll get back to that as we look at the bands. Mordekaiser taking off the board, Olaf and Wukong for CT, Leona, Nar, and Tom Kench almost looking exactly the same, except Leona being taken off for Syndicate side, Viger being locked in for CT yet again, and Nautilus going over onto the side of Syndicate.
Definitely a huge switch up here from Syndicate. They do take away the Leona. It means the Jax from last game does slip through. Maybe we see that picked up here. Who knows? But the Nautilus, at the very least, is a huge change up. What are you going to pair it with, though? Because the Kaisa can pair very well with the Nautilus. That is very meta. But you do got other options.
I definitely like the Kaisa Nautilus. That is a very, very strong pick there. And there it is. That is the Wombo combo. Match made in heaven there. Full rocket burst with the stun after the hook. Yeah, it definitely can become an invade first blood GG type of game for the side of Syndicate.
Like, yeah, Nautilus Kaisa, that's a strong bot lane, but when you lock in that bot lane, then you are opting into team fighting, and you left Ornn open. I expect this to be an Ornn lock-in for sure here for CT on P3.
With Leona being taken off and the MF grabbed, I don't see that being too bad of an option. With only two other bands being taken off too, I don't see as to why not. That's a really good call there, honestly. 8 seconds left here as we see CT's pick, and I'm not sure where they're going to go.
Alistar, Rakan are open. Both of those do pair well with
Renata.
I do respect the Renata Glass here because the composition so far from the Syndicate is very dive heavy, and the hostile takeover from Renata is just designed to punish hardcore dives because you dash on in. Then it's just a matter of, hey, stop hitting your teammates, stop hitting your teammates. Not exactly stop hitting yourself, but that's besides the point. TDS going heavy on that all in here, even with the Amumu.
You saw the Renata pick, and now you have to still full commit. And that is a slight issue here in Syndicate's side over here right now. With those three there, you're not going to want to dive on that Renata's R at all.
See the Amumu stats for Super Square. That's what I'm looking for right now. The Amumu pick I do like. You know, it's following up on what they had already indicated with their first couple of picks there. Really going for team fight. I don't see a whole lot of match history for Super Square on the Amumu. So I don't think this is something that he's exceptionally practiced on, but I do think it fits what they've drafted so far fairly well, and I'm interested to see if they can make it work.
Amumu not doing too hot over here in Worlds. Picked 3 times before today with only a 13% pick rate. And a win rate there on the 1. So it's only on the 33% win rate. Not the strongest pick there out of the selection. But I do see the team comp that they're going for.
It is very clear-cut composition for both sides so far. The Swain locked in too. Swain, I'd still argue, still kind of overpowered as hell. Although with the Kaisa, it does mean that TDS kind of really want an AD focused top laner here, as Kaisa is very much so on the hybrid side. We haven't been seeing much more attack damage focused Kaisas here. But if you do spec heavily into that magic damage a little bit too much, CT, if they pick a tanky top laner, it might just be an unkillable top laner.
Yeah. Volibear being locked in here to kind of help circumvent and kind of add...
still open, by the way.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I don't think Ornn is going to make it out of this last pick here for the side of CT. I think they're just going to get a good eye over it. Want to touch on Amumu's passive here too. Breaking down that magic resist too also helps and is very beneficial from Nautilus, Kaisa, and Swain all being AP right now. Oh,
not the Ornn.
So if
Okay.
Orange picked, there's the Fiora. I like that.
Well, you have to be very hard carry here, and it helps CT with their scaling because Emma Vigart definitely much more mid game focused. It's not like they turbo fall off late game, but compared to Kaisa and Swain, not going to be as much juice in the late game. But the fact that this is a Fiora that's potentially getting counterpicked here, yeah, that can be extremely rough to say the least because Fiora lives and dies by how well she does in lane because you want the Fiora to be set up to do a split push. That's what the champion's all about. You just split push, you just split push. There's a team fight across the map. You take 2 turrets, you take an inhibitor. But if you're not able to get ahead of in lane, if you're not able to stay even in lane, if you fall behind your 0-4, just split pushing with some components and a Tiamat is not really going to be the most threatening thing here. So I want to see what CT does to get this Fiora off the ground.
Yeah, honestly, I completely agree, Goferino. The Fiora pick feels very risky to me. And, TD Syndicate over here selecting Red Side 2 games in a row. Clearly, they wanted this counter pick in the top lane. They decided to go with the Urgot into the Fiora. So this is a champion that I don't think it's necessarily considered to be a strong counter pick necessarily into the Fiora, but if he does manage to get an advantage in that lane, I definitely feel like the Urgot has some potential, at least, to have a big impact here in these team fights.
If it wasn't Downfall, I'd have to agree with you there. But Downfall being like top 6, top 10 out here in Worlds, as strong of a player as they are, and that you gotta have confidence. Going into that blind Fiora, you already know, and you're kind of setting yourself up. But you know you're setting yourself up. And honestly, I like that pick because if Ornn was picked there, that would have been a very tough matchup for that Ornn with the Fiora dancing all around them and breaking through their armor. And any other tank pick would have been a huge issue there. So I actually really like it. It's not as crazy as it seemed. As a blind pick, it wasn't as crazy. I really like that there. It kind of set who he was going to be going against. And I don't know, man. Excuse me. Downfall with a duelist as strong as Fiora, as well, I would say Fiora maybe was a little better a couple patches ago when Stride or not Stride Breaker, excuse me. The split pushing item, Homebreaker was a little bit stronger, but I still think she's perfect. And I mean, with Wukong being taken off the board, yeah, that's like the fallback too. I like it a lot.
Yeah, because a big thing about the Fiora Urgot matchup is that it is very easy to riposte against Urgot, as the little Urgot dash has a very telegraphed windup where he goes back a little bit, then charges at you. So you just channel the riposte as soon as you see him go back, or once he reaches the apex of his back, and that should be perfect timing to get this done. So that's something to keep our eyes out on. And another thing I'm keeping my eye on is the fact that TD Syndicate does have a very low range team comp here. And low range team comps can sometimes struggle against the Vigar. Because when you have to get that close, you're usually positioning yourself for a cage. And when multiple members of your team are caught inside a Vigar cage, it's usually not a fun time.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out, Goferino. We have to remember, of course, in game one, how impactful that Veigar was, especially towards the end of the game there, able to create so much zone control, able to exert so much pressure in those fights. And he really, I mean, it was his one shots that enabled the exploded Nexus there towards the end of that first game. And the top lane as well, like you said, it really feels like a bit of a skill matchup. Both champions with some ample opportunities for counterplay, but generally speaking, the Fiora has a little bit more of a reactive side to that, being able to respond to the Urgot dash as well as outscaling him, as we get towards that late game in the side lane. I do think we're going to be getting into the action pretty soon here, guys. But really quickly, before we do get on into game two, let's get your predictions for this second game. TD Syndicate, they selected red side twice in a row now. They're opting once again for a fairly short range, as Gofarino pointed out, team fight composition. Do you think they've made some adequate adaptations to be able to take the second game, or are we going up 2-0 for coachless tyranny? Gofarino, you first.
So my predictions are going to hinge on whoever wins top lane here. I'm favoring Downfall since they do happen to be a bit of a Amateur Worlds All-Star right now. But whether it's the Fiora or whether it's Crockpot's Urgot, whoever wins that top lane will have such a dominating force on the game that it's going to be hard for the rest of the enemy team to really respond to them. So mine's is a prediction in progress, but favoring CT.
Okay, Gofarino hedging his bets as usual. Huey, on to you. What are you thinking here about game 2?
So my prediction here was TD takes blue side from here, and this is going to be their game 1-1 and tie it 1-1. Them taking red side again on an undefeated blue side CT. I don't know, man. I like the challenge, and I do like the keep it to your guns for it. But with it being semifinals and with as much as it is, take I would say, the better side and kind of get yourself a locked in, because you're really not going to want to play. You don't want to play from match point 2-0. You're definitely not going to want to in semifinals.
Yeah. Well, we shall see, guys, at game 2 right around the corner. We will be going to a short break first, but don't go anywhere. See if TD Syndicate can tie things up at 1-1, or if Coach's Tyranny are going to bring us to that match point. See you soon.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 is on the way for Group A semifinal. CT up 1. TD needs to make sure that they get this game locked into the bag so they do not fall behind in this best of 5. And I think we're getting it. Invade first blood. GG flash hook going and not getting it. Just using the dash. Doesn't even get the flash trade there. And oh my gosh, Gofarino.
That Giga sucks, and we even see the movement up here from Coachless Tyranny's bot lane to get a bit of a deep ward in. That's going to spot out any blue buff clearing shenanigans from Super Square. Make sure they're unable to, pull a fast one on you.
Yeah, pull a quick one on you. Oh. That is so unfortunate. Coming from the top side too, that is a different angle of approaching. And usually the top lane being by themselves, and assuming that Rocky was going to start red side, that was looking like a prime setup for sure. Downfall just not falling for their tricks.
Oh, that's the wrong button. Yep, no fishy shenanigans here. Thankfully, the flash he did spend was on Ramirez. And usually, especially with engaged supports like Nautilus Leona, your flash is very expendable. It is still important. It is still important, mind you, Huey. But you have the Hex Flash backup, and you don't mind using it willy-nilly. That being said, if it costs you prio in this early laning phase, that is big. Because the MF Renata, if they're able to get prio, if they're able to get level 2 first, they can look to just poke you out here. Use the handshake to keep you away. Use the little Renata gas poke to keep you on out of here. And that's going to make for a very sad Nautilus Kai'Sa lane.
Yeah, I would have to say the tank engages, it is kind of rough with Renata. As squishy as she is, just the poke that she provides, plus the CC she also provides as well through her W and her E, it's just too serious sometimes. So I'm excited to see what Raimez can do, and I think the loss of Flash is going to affect them a lot more because of their bot lane, of who they're going up against.
Yeah. You do have an Amumu jungle, though, for Super Square, so if you're able to land the Bandage Toss, you'll probably be able to land the Dredge line. Usually easy to follow up CC with more CC. That's the nature of CC. Because when someone's standing still, turns out skill shots much easier to land.
That is also true. Gets the nice lineup as well. Lemon Slap, excuse me. Lemon Sap is going to have to flash on that Rocky engage there. A lot of pressure over from the bot lane here. Downfall slightly leading in CS as we see Super Square in his Urgot's Tribush over on red side. Looking top lane, I'm not sure if they're really going to want to do
going
this.
for it. They
Yeah,
are going
they
for
are
it.
going to go for it though. Volibear is there as well, so Downfall is just gonna have to survive. The flash gets blocked there.
Okay, this is a huge
Represent,
turn.
and this is looking
Get the
scary.
pass done. Get the
Lightning
pass
Bolt is gonna
done.
come on down there. Damages is coming on in. Downfall not
Oh.
getting is what is needed, and it looks like they might win back over there, going back towards bot lane here.
No, they can't finish the kill.
10% going back.
Where's first blood?
10% both is
How's
going to
doing
land.
that?
And
Okay.
top first blood is going to land on top side here. Moving on to the bot lane. The bailout ignite is going to proc over on to the side of Nautilus, and he is barely going to get away with that. Looking for the 2-0 top lane. Urgot has only a couple shotguns left. Dash representing. See you later. Downfall the man there. 2-1, and that is called worth in the book.
So, my prediction was whoever wins top lane probably has their team win the game. And there's a 2-1-0 Fiora now. And Crocbot had to get the early Bramble Vest. So I'm saying it's pretty heavily CT favored now here, Huey.
Yeah, I may be sure. Checking back topside, Reprose is going to hit yet again. A nice counter. Has the level advantage. Just slightly behind in terms of CS. We're going to have to check back come level 6. Because it really feels like Crocbot is still kind of handling himself in the top lane.
Yeah. There is still a chance to come back in this lane. It's not completely boomed. It is still Fiora that needs to scale. But it is at least semi-boomed.
I think
and that's an issue.
I think if it was a 2-0 clean, and they weren't able, if Crockpot wasn't able to get the Bramble, I think we'd be definitely looking at a completely different story. Checking down the bot lane, though. Agent 6 just getting in trouble there. Rocky using the stun on the minion. Oh my god, Agent 6, this may be the way out. But unfortunately, Renata is going to lock in there as well. It's going to be just a little case of
no, don't overcommit. You don't have the damage.
Is going to come in for Super Square, looking for the bandage toss.
You have no damage.
Make it rain. Plus the stun just hanging out, and now you're just kind of giving bot lane an extra kill there, boss.
So, that is tragic. Thankfully, if you are the Syndicate, both those kills did go over to the Volibear building full tank and neither of the bot laners.
Oh, that is actually a really good call there, because I really thought that fell over for Wolves. And yeah, no, I mean, I guess it could be worse. You still gave up 2. You still give up first strike. You still give up priority. You're still giving up the early game. And what are you getting? Or did you get at least... Herald hasn't even been spawned yet. So you're not really gaining anything as of right now. Look at the map. It's still pretty dark. You're not getting any vision as well. You're not counter jungling. These are not, this is not what I wanted to see, especially when you had pick of map side and you chose to go red side, knowing CT is still undefeated on blue side.
Okay, that is a good hook.
Good hook, but I don't know if they have
though.
the damages here. Look at the item difference. Stare at Dirk there over to the double longsword. It's not going to do much.
Okay.
Spirit or Super Squared there, unfortunately not landing the bandage toss there on downfall. Doesn't even have to use the counter. The block, so still available. Rocky coming around the curtains from his allies Tribush. And in that bottom bush bot lane, we are seeing the dual top lane, and it's just not looking good for Crockpot. I don't think Rocky was caught on the ward just yet, but as soon as he steps forward, he will be seen. Hopefully Wolves checks that bush. There we go. And now he is able... 6 is available. I don't know if they're going to want to dive yet, because 5 isn't available, or 6 isn't just available. just yet for their bot lane. And 4-1 right now. 2,000 gold lead. Kaisa not feeling the most right now. MF just kind of being able to push.
Okay, we got a bit of a flank coming in.
Oh, we do have the Swain flank
The
here.
yoink misses.
Oh, he doesn't get the hook. Raining Wolves gets the 1v1 Agent 6 right now. Bailout coming back down onto Albedo, but it's not going to keep them alive as the
give him the suck.
Is starting to come on in, and yeah, that's all it is. Just a big suck coming from the mid lane.
It does Giga suck though that agency did drop there. Now 2-2 on the Kaisa is really devastating. But you get 2 kills onto Lemon Sap. So now you have someone that's ahead of their respective laner. You have someone that's snowballing, someone that you can rally around and make up for this deficit you have.
Yeah, for sure. No healing on the side of CT just yet either. So he should be able to run Rampant Lost Chapter already locked in as well. That is a awesome item to have on Swain early game. And with those 2 kills should definitely help get that Leandries in as soon as possible to start burning through, which really their only tank is Rocky.
Get a little bit of juice in the tanks, as we like to say in the biz.
Yes, sir. Where Syndicate has more of a front line from Crockpot, Super Square, and technically Lemon Sap there. Obviously more toting for the damages, but with that Demonic Ascension available later in the game, that definitely can change the pace coming for this next drag, which is about 1:30.
You will have to contend with the fact that there is a Rift Herald available. It will still be available when that dragon spawns for a short amount of time. But the fact it's on Downfall was an interesting... Okay, that was an interesting choice here by Coachless Tyranny. I can see why it is your split-pushing champion. This should be a big gank.
Ooh, they do find it. Represent is going to hit. Downfall is just going to have to retreat back just a bit to get the heal. Here comes the dunk coming in from Rocky. The dash and finish. Amumu was right around the corner and just couldn't make it. But now knowing where Mumu is topside, bot lane can get a little aggressive. Start looking for some plates here. I don't know if they can get the full commit dive here. Swain is available for the rotate. A lot of damage is coming in over for Rymez there. Super Square just trying to hold the back or the top tower there. And if you notice yet again, where did that first Rift Herald fall?
Oh,
went over to CT. Nice.
You do get 2 charges. Okay.
He's just gonna, yeah. He's just gonna pass it along there. And honestly, I don't know if they win that. Gordrick are gonna be locked in there for Downfall. And I gotta say, man, Downfall killing at the top lane right now.
Killing it. Already has the Gore Drinker. And the biggest power spike differential. Okay, look for the yoink. There's the bonk.
Oh, there goes the lockdown there. Chung Mung does get the flash in. There goes the Demonic Ascension. Will he be able to out-heal the damages there? But it's actually looking pretty good for CT right now. He's going to miss Nevermore there. Predator proc there, but not going to push continue forward. Really, it going even. I think that works over on CT side. Nothing was given up there or lost.
Sorry, I got distracted by my dog because she started scratching at my bed.
Yo,
a little bit of a counter dive being set up here in the bot lane. They're trying to bait it. CT not falling for it. Opting instead for the dragon here. Oh lord, and summoning a bit of a ace up the sleeve, so to speak, in his top lane. With that Rift Herald, a lot more just solo gold. Going over to Downfall. And Crockpot building full tank. I mean, if yours designed to shred through tanks, you do have that percentage HP shred.
100%.
True damage.
I think that is really just the right call here on the top lane. You couldn't really call for the top lane for the burst potential and just the rip through the armor shred Fiora provides there. So kind of having to opt into the Urgot there, and it's just not performing as well as I think they wanted to here. Super Square trying to find a bandage toss here and not necessarily finding them too well tonight. Little unfortunate there, and that is a lot of the setup there. Flash unavailable as well, so can't just curse to the sad mummy or Flash. So really gonna have to check and make sure that they are in Q range and can lock it down, so the team can follow up after them.
Because like that you bring up Super Square here, Huey, because they've not been having the best of times, to say the least. 0-2 on the Amumu. Have not really gotten any successful ganks in. Which does suck, because, like, this Amumu, in theory, should be great at ganking both bot and mid lane here. Has not been working out, though, to say the least. I know that's very basic analysis here, but you do want to see more. But the bandage tosses just haven't been hidden.
Yeah, you gotta have the range. You also have the slow smite too. And it's not even like they're in bad positioning. Like they're right there, but now watch, he's gonna land. He's gonna make sure. Oh, he's gonna actually get stunned instead by Albedo. Super Square not gonna be able. Ryman's not gonna be able to find it either. And yeah, these are the initial startups, man. If you can't get the keys in the ignition, the car cannot start. And if you're gonna lock into these team comps, you gotta make sure that these initiators are initiating, or you're gonna end up in situations like these where you do find chances and opportunities to get back into the game, but you don't find it, and you find yourself going deeper and deeper into a deficit.
God, felt like I had to sneeze there for a second, and it distracted me. You know those times, Huey, where it's like, alright, I'm gonna sneeze, and then you kind of don't. It feels bad. Just like it feels bad to be 1-2 as an Urgot versus a Gourd Drinker Fiora. And your Balmy Cinder's not really gonna be doing too much to save you. Can you save this bot lane though, Flash?
Rymat's Flash and not gonna be able to land on anything. Albedo going to have to take the death charge, but is gonna drop the smoke and is gonna cause enough stall there to let Raising Wolves get themselves out. And that is about 3 ults there for the bot lane, matching them for 2. And I don't know, I guess you take what you can get, but that was a lot. And yeah, you can see the tags coming in right now, as Albedo tagging all the ults there just for them.
Anybody got one here on the spot side?
This is trouble right here.
Oh no.
Does not have the demonic
ascension.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get the support, but now I guess we get one in mid.
You're gonna get 2 charges. That is some patty value.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And if it was 2 minutes earlier, they would have had full plates. Red turret will be dropped yet again. Tier 3 top side. Downfall walking away. Can we get a gold check real quick?
Yeah, gold check. As we look at the scoreboard here, nearly 5,000 differential. Not even 17 minutes in. That's pretty damn big. The general guideline is about 10% is when you start feeling a difference. We're seeing well above 20%, so this is going to be a very felt difference. It's going to come down to what picks can you get. Oh, no! Super Square, come on!
Albedo just holding their ground and just bobbing and weaving by not moving. And I mean, I guess it works. You're expecting the dodge, and when the dodge doesn't come, you're just over-anticipating the moment there. Downfall is here, and yeah, you're about to start feeling the difference here. Downfall looking for the dash there. Initiate from the cage isn't really there. The force of the 5, though, is coming in, waiting for the wave. And I don't know if Syndicate can defend this. Never Move came and left there. That was a lot of their CC, and there wasn't a lot of damage behind it. We're going to rotate over towards Drake. There's not much Syndicate can do here. Alberto with the lockdown. The cage coming in. Watch the damage. We're going to have to leave, make it rain, down. And I think they're just going to take with what that and just continue moving forward.
Oh, and that's tragic. Because it's like, we see Syndicate, they're trying stuff.
Yeah.
But they ain't hitting. This should just be... Okay. Just barely able with the supercharge to avoid that cage. Yeah, because it's now almost soul here for the enemy team in Goatles Tyranny. They have all these turrets on you, they have all these kills, and they have major CS leads in the bot lane, at the very least. So, I mean, this is looking boomed.
Little greedy. Greedy
I mean,
pick.
they don't have damage.
They stun, see you later. They do have the Cloud Trade speed boost, so they should be able to match up over to the Tri-Bush. Downfall, obviously, knowing that, is going to be able to route the other way. Rymes is going to drop the R flash. Try to get away from the Death Charge and just try to slow it down. Another Curse of the Mummy to bring it down. And yes, taking a little more than what they can chew. Downfall will take their second death there.
Alright.
That was a lot.
They did have to commit a lot for that. But honestly, I'll take it. If it is a free kill, they might have to give up one in return. Question mark?
Maybe.
Handshake misses. So it is a 1-for-0. And you will take that. You're not able to get anything else off of that. And it does cost you a lot of ultimates. But you got to shut down for your top laner here. You'll let Crockpot get themselves back into the game a little bit here. Actually build some damage to be a bit of a threat themselves. Because you don't really need much more beef when you have this full tank of Momo jungle and the Nautilus support. You mostly just want that Urgot. You go with the Gauntlet because it's like one of Urgot's best mythics, but there's no real true Urgot mythic is why you go it.
I would have to agree with you on that. Urgot is very flexible. I do enjoy that, but at the same time, I don't enjoy that. When you don't have that solid, this is what represents me as a champion, I feel like it sometimes lacks. And in this part as of right now, I would have preferred to like something a little more than just a tank, cause Crockpot's not doing too bad. Able to get a little bit of the CS lead back as of right now, and starting to get a little more bulky. On the other hand, though, Downfall is, I wouldn't say 9 unstoppable with only 2 items in hand, but is becoming a sure threat for sure. But if they're not too careful, can definitely start falling behind with a couple more picks.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught slacking here. We saw what that could result in with last game. It's not as hard of a scaling differential threat here, but you do still have to worry, because it is an enemy team with the Kai'Sa, with the Swain, who will outscale your Misfortune Vigar if push comes to shove, or I guess time passes enough. So we'll see.
120 on the mark now for for Soul for the side of CT. So I hope here we don't get of what we had first game and getting an upset here. And I do want to kind of touch on that. I like the more of the scaling comp here, because I don't see a lot of the scaling here. Downfall is going to block the root, but won't be able to block the Death Charge. A lot of CC coming down. Demonic Ascension is coming down as well, but Downfall had their escape route set with the wards, knowing that the Nut was there, is going to be able to get right over that wall and get away, and force to ult out 30 seconds before Cloud Soul. So this really can be a game changer here.
You are going to need to make the most use out of it, though. And if you do flounder before this potential Cloud Soul, that's always a bit of a mood killer. It's not the vibe, so to speak, Senpai. For real, for real.
That is definitely true. I'm as speeding into the mid lane, looking very scary as he approached Raining Wolves, but really couldn't find the hook they wanted to.
Hey, Shirelli's popped.
Not the end of speed, coming down to match them. plus the smoke coming over from Renata. Lock-in coming in, but Super Square is caught in a rock and a hard place as there is no teammates there to back him up. Thunderous roar coming over from Rocky as they are in the back row. There is no demonic ascension, but it is finally found and actually turning the fight back around. But here comes Downfall trying to get on through. Represent is there. Make it rain. The carries are still up and available, but it's just about 10% besides Rymez here waiting on the cooldown for the hook to maybe look for the re-engage. But I think it's going to be a light reset as CT tries to rotate back for this soul as Syndicate has to retreat on a back, get the heals, and I don't know if they're going to be back in time.
They definitely won't. They do have one TP on Lemon Sap. And even though that fight goes 2 for 2, which usually favors the behind team, the fact you're giving up soul for this, not the most worth. Not the most worth indeed. And we've seen how important Dragon Souls can be here in amateur roles for helping win the game. Well, when you're already this far ahead, getting the soul is kind of a bit of a icing on the cake sort of situation.
I would have to agree with you for the most part, but it is only about a 4K lead here. But unfortunately, it is on everybody who is needed. Checking over on MF3-1 right now. Viger on the 1-0. Volley Bear 2-1 looking strong. Fiora as well. 2 items locked in. Plus a little bit of the MR as well from the Treads. With the extra call field there. That is a very scary duelist indeed.
Yep. Well, a little hard to catch up. Little hard to catch up. Little hard to keep him pinned down. That's what we say in the biz here.
So locked in, ready to go. Baron is looking like the next objective. Rocky clearing out some of the bit of vision here, which I'm going to say is not that much, as you can go and check onto the map. It's only really covering the bot lane red side entrance plus more. Super Square trying to see if there's anything there for him to try to soak up, and just finds a bad trade instead. And check the split. So now Syndicate in a bad position. They're going to have to either A, answer to the split or lose this Baron, as it is going to get started here. Lemon Sap is here to check as well, but I don't know if he can do it all by himself. Downfall pushing forward.
Okay.
Looking for the fight there as we look for the engage topside over onto Baron.
Okay, the flip, the dip. Where's the damage, though?
Nice damage, but there goes the representative, which kind of cuts it right into half,
Yep.
and then the ult to clean it off. So now Crockpot is defeated. Downfall now has all lights to go forward, and Syndicate on the retreat back is going to have to answer that, and is going to again lose that small line of vision scrimmage that they have just built up. And now this is a very scary situation here. Downfall.
Okay, now riposte.
Lost here. Represent is going to. Oh,
it's gonna
the
cost you the Baron.
There. Oh, there goes the R coming from Agent C.
No, there's no way Downfall gets out. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to be able to escape from the 3 on the side of CT. But at what cost is that catch? It's going to be the Baron there. So I'm really not sure if that is the proper call, but it had to have been answered one way or another. So at least they were able to capture Downfall and kind of slow their ascension.
You at least take out the biggest threat with the Baron buff, which would have been Downfall, but this is just kind of pure desperation out of the side of the Syndicate here right now, Huey. Like, you're committing that much for a single kill in exchange for Baron, and you're not even able to get anything else on the top of it. It's not like you're able to get that bot lane outer turret to get you a little bit of gold, even a minuscule amount of map control. It's literally just a single kill. That's not a good look, bestie. That's not a good look, bestie. To say the least.
I definitely have to agree with you. I mean, looking over on Syndicate though, Swain's still 3-1. Urgot not too far behind. A really good Mumu R can really set the pace. They're just gonna have to find the pick. I don't think the full 5 is on their side though anymore.
No. I just tabbed over to Agency 6. They don't even have the Supercharge Evolution for their E because they went Collector second. So, okay, so quick fun fact for those at home. With the new Kraken build with Kaisa, in order to get the double evolution pretty fast with your Q&E, you just die here.
Oh
yeah,
no!
There's no need to play that. But in order to get that fast evolution, you have to get an attack speed item second. Usually a Zeal is preferred because Zeal plus Zerkers should be enough to get you in the ballpark for that supercharged evolution. But going Collector means you're delaying yourself that much further until you complete the Infinity Edge, which can work if you're snowballing really, really hard. But 2, 3, and 3 in your bind, not so much.
Definitely unfortunate. They're losing mid tier 3 and inhib. That is a very big issue there as we re-rotate for the bot tier 3, and it is just getting decimated between the likes of Downfall and Rocky. There goes the second inhib as well, and I think game 2 is just about in the bag. I don't think they're going to go for the full commit push, so Syndicate will have a chance to kind of farm up some of these minions, get some of that lost gold in their pocket, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to kind of elevate this deficit.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of in the territory where you have to just start looking towards game 3 to make your reverse sweep dreams happen. That's how doomed it is. Like,
Lemon Sap caught into the cage there, finds their way to escape. Agent 6 unloading onto the rocket. There goes a flash Q, looking for the side of the Cursed Mummy. And this is the first team fight that's starting to really look good.
Okay, 2 for 1.
Here comes Downfall blocking and repertorying everything over onto the side. Chung Mung even is still alive too. Albedo coming in to help out. Triple kill coming in, and there it is, the first pentakill over onto Group A. Chunga finding it all the way through, and it's just going
to end
on home.
There's no way. I think you get one Nexus turret here before you have to dip. There's no way. That'd be like the hardest cap I've ever seen. If the Vygar pentakill is what ends the game here. I mean, this turret's dropping fast. Look at those meaty-ass autos here. It's only Nautilus up. Okay, Lemon Stuff is back. They'll get both.
Flash is going to go on through, going to try to take the walk, put down the box in a second. Oh, the Hourglass stall. What a play there. Chung might be able to get out of this.
Maybe, yeah, because they're having to answer the double super minions knocking on their Nexus, so... Chung able to get out of that one. It will result in Elder. What a funny sequence of events. I'm hoping the XNLSC XNLSC staff clip that one and like upload it as a highlight to Twitter, just so we can show to the masses that hilarious sequence of events there, because it's random Vygar Penna into just helping shove in that mid lane, picking up those 2 Nexus turrets, and then having to go, oh, frickety frick, they're all back. Alright, I'm out of this, bitch.
And get that in there, too, no less, too. That is a swag walk of the Evil Tyrant, if I've seen one, done one myself. And I think this is about all she wrote there. Super Square going to be able to find a really nice curse of the Sad Mummy. But here comes Albedo's ult.
A big yoink.
Stop. Crop pop. He's going to be able to drop Raining Wolves.
2 pop.
Legendary. Looking for 2.
3
getting
pop.
another one. Downfall. Getting onto Agent 6. Double kill going on through.
Low. That's 4 pops. 5 pops. That's a Penta.
And is that the Fiora Penta? Or one?
Oh, no. Okay. I'm captain.
Gosh.
I'm captain.
Oh, was so close for them back-to-back Penta. What am I watching, ladies and gentlemen? Get these guys off of blue side. Game 2 locked in for CT. Match point coming on up.
Yep. for the ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed enemies of the audience watching, you definitely won't want to go anywhere because what the hell was that game, Huey? It just felt like it snowballed out of control eventually for the side of coachless tyranny. In TD Syndicate, there were some glimmers of hope. I mean, even in that late game fight around that dragon, it was 4 for 5, and they nearly made it a 5 for 5. It's not. It's not working out in their favor after that brief loss.
I am at a loss for words there. It was looking good again, but ripping onto prize to the victory there, gonna be able to take them off of blue side. And crewman, why would they go red
You
side
know,
again?
Huey, it beats me. I really think that was a little bit of a misplay coming through from Syndicate. And game two, honestly, it really felt like a bit of a Vagar diff here once again, coming through from Chung Myung. Pardon my pronunciation on that one, but really, the Vagar 2 games in a row seemed to be too much for TD Syndicate to handle. And I mean, as for my own analysis, I don't have much more than that. Maybe Gopher. I mean, what do you think? What went wrong for TD Syndicate there besides Vagar being himself?
So there was a Fiora that kind of snowballed top lane.
That is true.
I did make the prediction that whichever top laner wins game means their team will probably win the game. And that does hold up here. So a pat on the back for myself. But the Misfortune Vigar combo looks to be way too strong here. You pointed out Chung living up to their Big Chungus moniker and being a big deal this game. But the MF just once again, for Reigning Wolves, able to drop those fatty ultimates, able to just do so much damage. Combine that with everybody else on the map snowballing, it made it really hard for the Syndicate to even amount to anything in this game, it felt.
Yeah, definitely. It really did feel like TD Syndicate, whatever the game plan was, selecting red side here for their second game, it didn't really work out. There was never really a point in the game where it felt like TD Syndicate was in a position where they were able to determine the next steps, what was going to happen next, what their own win conditions were. It never really felt like they had that opportunity. Huey, what do you think they could potentially change here in draft or otherwise in the gameplay as well, in order for TD Syndicate to maybe even stand a chance here? I mean, Coach's Tyranny, we said right off the bat here at the top of the show that Coach's Tyranny were favored here tonight, but I mean, there has to be some way for TD Syndicate to put in a show for us here in game 3. How do you think they should go about it?
I think the first step is to get CT off blue side. Number 1.
Sure.
Take them off of blue. My prediction was the back and forth to game 5. But with this issue, now the pressure's on. You get the game. Now CT can force to go to blue side now. And then you see how the performance has been going. It has not been going well on said side. So what do? You have top lane in the terms of downfall really going off and really doing what's needed. Chung Young getting their way through and getting I think the first penta over onto Group A as well. Rocky all over the place as well. There is a lot of leaks in this boat and they need to get sealed immediately or you're going to find this 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, definitely. Gopher, what did you think about this game 2 draft? Kaisa Nautilus was how it started out here for the side of Syndicate. Obviously a pretty solid bottom lane, but things did go awry at some point, very clearly. Do you think the problem was in the draft, or was it more? Are you more focused on the gameplay?
It's the gameplay, the execution for me. Like those bandage tosses, super square, honey, darling. You've got to land those.
Please.
You got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Land one of them, please.
Yeah, he does have 2. That is how the champion works now. Not able to do it in that one. Conqueror on the Amumu also. A little bit of an interesting choice there. Is somewhat meta, but against a predominantly ranged team, I have to wonder if maybe the Aftershock would have been more effective.
That is
Not a huge Amumu player myself, so take that with a grain of salt. But
Aftershock might have been a little better there. I see the Conquerors coming in for the late game and for the extended fight. But you can't even start the fight if you're not landing the bandage tosses. That is a very, very
yeah,
issue.
yeah. Can't proc the Aftershock if you don't land the bandage toss. That is very true.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Big Boss.
Yeah, with that being said, though, I believe we're going to cut to a short break here to sort out some production issues.
Okay.
If you guys have anything else you want to say before we cut to break?
Yeah, no, we have a little bit we can get back and get it on going.
Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back with the pre-show for Game 3 in the Amateur World Semifinals. Don't go anywhere.